All right, my friends, just going for my nice afternoon walk in the shade. I've been getting this question a lot, actually, probably 3 or 4 times about Social Security benefits and not accounting for inflation. And I actually want to talk about that because I think it's actually important to understand how it works. Because if you just look at your Social Security benefit in today's numbers and you say, I'm not going to retire until I'm 2037, and I'm only going to get today's amount of income that shows on the statement, that's not going to work, because the Social Security statement or the Social Security benefit you receive has these things called indexing or inflating numbers. It's not the CPI necessarily. And I've talked about this a number of times, but I guess I got to do it again because I think it's so important to understand. So remember, you have this thing called the inflation index. They're going to look at your earliest year of eligibility. So for me, being born in 1970, my earliest year of eligibility is when I'm 62, which means it was at 2032. And then when I go to the Social Security statement, and you'll see my history of earnings, you're not going to see it adjusted at all for inflation. You're not going to see it adjusted at all. It's just going to say, in 1984, I made $300. In 1985, I made $600, whatever. Well, that's not what I'm paid on. I mean, that's just my literally the earnings I made those years. But I get those benefits inflated, all right, based on the inflator that Social Security uses, which is the average wage index, and how that increases each and every year. All right, so then once you hit 62, or is it 60? I think it's 60 actually, now I think about it. It's your earliest year eligibility when you're looking at your inflated numbers, your inflator factor, or indexed, if you will. But they call it the inflator. But anyway, but then from 60 on, they're going to use whatever they think is the CPI, all right? And that's based on, like my man Devin Carroll says, CPI urban clerical workers. I think it's CPI-W, urban and clerical workers. It's a basic CPI. Trustees report they think it's going to be 2.6% a year, and I'm fine with using that number for sure. So we just use 2.6, all right? So use the indexing factor, the inflator number, and that's based on the average wage index. So it's going to be a little bit different than CPI. And then once you hit 60, I think it is 60, you don't use the AWI anymore, the inflator. You use whatever they're using for cost of living. Again, that's using CPI. And that's it. And so what happens is, if your benefit today says it's going to be $2,200, that's just today. That doesn't mean anything. it means something. But you got to factor that in for inflation. And again, it depends on how old you are and what's your earliest year of eligibility. All right, so that's you got to know that, because if you don't, you're going to say, man, in 2037, I'm only living on $2,200 a month from Social Security, but it's going to take me $10,000 a month because of inflation. Don't do that. You got to inflate it. It just is critical. So something else I want to talk about too is, and this is another guy, he says your Social Security benefit statement is wrong, and that's Steve Savant. I never heard this guy, but he seems like a good guy, and I've seen this video a couple of times cross my feed from people who email it to me, and this dude's 100% right. If you look at your Social Security statement, it's going to say when you're 62, you're going to get $2,000 a month, all right, because that's you're taking it early. Or let's put it this way. When you're 66, your full retirement age, you're going to get 25, well, let's say $2,000 a month, just because I'm walking and make it easier to understand. So at 66, your full retirement age, you're going to get $2,000 a month. But if you took it at 62, you'll get $1,500 a month. If you took it at 70, you get $2,620 is what it would be. All right, something like that. So 15, 2,000, 2,620, just for simplicity. Now, notice what it doesn't say, though. You're not really going to get, if you took it at 62, you're going to get $1,500. But you're not going to get $22,000 a month at 66 at your full retirement age. Why? Because that will also be adjusted with the rate of inflation at that point, the CPI-W. Is not, that will be inflated. And I actually, that Steve Savant, it wasn't him, he's interviewing somebody. I forgot the guy's name, but it was actually pretty good. I actually didn't like the way that guy was talking. It seemed like it was weird, actually. He's like, oh, wait, there's more. It's an odd way to present things, I thought. But his point was actually well taken, I thought. In fact, when I did my Social Security tutorial, which I do every year, I show you the difference, because at $1,500 a month, all right, you're getting 2.6% inflation on that. At $2,000 a month, you get 2.6% inflation on that. At 2620, you get 2.6% inflation on that, which actually pays you more. I mean, this is simple. You're saying, look, 2.6% pays me more in dollars on 2620 than it does on 1500. And there's a widening gap between those two numbers, because the facts are you're starting with a larger number, which is growing at the same percent. And think about it like this. If you're getting $1,000 a month at 2.6, you get $26 increase. If you have $2,000 a month at 2.6%, you're getting $52 increase. So now I get $2,026 a month, or $1,026 a month increase at 2.6%. But the other guy gets $2,052 a month, increasing by 2.6%. Per dollar, the amount that's higher is getting larger each and every year than the amount that's lower, if that makes sense. They're still growing at the same 2.6, but it's becoming a widening gap because the higher amount is actually getting more dollars for the same increase in inflation, 2.6%. It's actually pretty critical to know. In fact, when I ran the number, it came right off the top of my head, but I remember it's like, man, the difference was becoming, like at one point, the delayed earnings credits was 2 times the rate of the taking it early. And then if you fast forward a few more years, like 3 times or something like that. It was nuts. I was like, wow, I never knew that until I actually ran the numbers. It was crazy. So those who take the delayed earnings credits, they're getting, not only are they getting the 8% earnings, but they're also getting the 2.6%, which is growing at a higher per dollar amount than those who took it early. Because again, the difference between 2,000 at 2.6 is 52. So now I got 2,052 that's growing at 2.6. If I took it early, I'm getting 1,000 at 2.6 with his 1,026 at 2.6. And the 2,052 is paying me more per dollar, as in terms of actual dollar amount, than the 1,000. I hope that makes sense, because it's critically important. So again, when you get your Social Security statement, it's not accounting for inflation. It's just giving you $1 today. It's just literally saying, okay, if you keep working, you'll make this amount of money at 67, and you'll make this amount of money at 62, and you'll make this amount of money at 70. That's 100% correct, but it's missing out a bunch of things. A is the cost of living adjustment, or again, the inflator that's going to keep coming down the pike depending on what your age is. And 2, it's missing the difference between the cost of living on the CPI, the 2.6, between 62, that number's giving you at 62, and the growth of that number for 66, 67, depending on what your full retirement age is, and 70. I hope that makes sense. That's a lot to chomp on, but man, I've been wanting to talk about this for a while because it's critically important. I tell you, I'll never forget when I used to just look at Social Security statements. I said, man, I've said this a number of times here, but I didn't make any money for the longest time. I mean, how am I going to make any Social Security payment? Well, the fact was, because I'm just looking at my earnings record, but I wasn't looking at the inflated record, right? And I'm just telling you, and I've done so many videos on that, but you got to know the inflated amount. What are they inflating at? It's based on your earliest year of eligibility. And they're saying, okay, Josh, in 1984, you made the $186. We're going to times that by 5, essentially. I'm just giving that for an example. And it's critical to know that. All right, well, anyway, I hope this helps. It's good stuff. My man Mike emailed me that, and I appreciate that. And we'll talk about that later on tonight when I go live, too. So I'll give you maybe a better detail using some of the whiteboards and whatnot. I'll see you.